Hello everyone, welcome to Shifting Gears and welcome inside the 2024 Tata Curvv.EV. This is India's first mass market electric coupe SUV and prices start from rupees 17.49 lakh ex showroom. As of date, the only ideal rival to the Tata Curvv EV is the MG ZS EV. Now that should give you some idea about the product positioning, that is this Tata Curvv as a product, the ICE and the EV versions. This is a mid-size SUV and it is going to rival in a segment where you have really tough competition, which includes the Hyundai Creta, Kia Seltos, MG Aster and the likes. For now, for this Tata Curvv.EV or Curvv.EV, there is only one direct rival and that is the MG ZS EV. But since this is such a tough competitive segment, Tata Motors has tried to differentiate their product, this Tata Curvv and Curvv.EV, by making it a coupe SUV. So there is nothing quite like it here in the Indian market. The Citroën Basalt, I think, is playing in a segment below, at least in terms of pricing. Now we don't know how competitively priced the Tata Curvv ICE variants are going to be, because that pricing will be announced next month in September 2024. For now, we only know the Curvv.EV pricing, which starts at 17.49 lakh. Now in this video, we are going to speak about how does this Curvv.EV feel from behind the wheel. We are going to focus on our driving experience. This is going to be a detailed drive review video. We have two more separate videos, one where we speak about the exterior design of this very different, very unique looking Tata Curvv.EV, and then we also have another detailed video about the interior cabin of this Curvv.EV, so that we can tell you what are the features that are available. Do they work as expected? Is the quality all that great or not? So now is a good time to subscribe to the Shifting Gears channel and press that bell icon so that you are notified every time we upload a content piece for you, so that you can make an informed car buying decision. And now let us first speak about the specifications of this Tata Curvv.EV. Now, if you are interested in the Tata Curvv.EV, you might already know that you are going to get two battery pack options. What we are driving today is the Curvv.EV 55 in its top spec avatar. With this, you are going to get a 55 kilowatt hour battery pack and the claimed range is 585 kilometers as per MIDC. Now, the electric motor is going to offer you 167 PS of power and 215 Newton meters of torque. Tata Motors is claiming that this variant will sprint from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 8.6 seconds. Of course, you are going to get multi-drive modes such as Eco, City and Sport, and your range is going to depend on what mode you are driving this vehicle in. And you also get regen levels, which are a total of 4, 0, 1, 2 and 3, where 0 is no regen and 3 is max regen. To control these regen levels, it is very easy. You can simply tap the paddle shifters. If you are considering the lower spec Curvv.EV 45, that is powered by a 45 kilowatt hour battery pack. Now the motor then delivers 150 PS of power and the same 215 Newton meters of torque. This variant will sprint from 0 to 100 km per hour in 9 seconds. So this is slower by 0.4 seconds only, not that big a deal. And this variant will deliver 502 km of range, certified as per the MIDC test cycle. What is very interesting to note is that between these two different battery pack options, the ground clearance is also different. The Curvv.EV 55 has a ground clearance of 186 millimeters, while the Curvv.EV 45 variants have a ground clearance of 190 millimeters. And before we start our detailed drive review video, here are the charging times for this Tata Curvv.EV on your screens. You can pause and consume this information. Now there are a few things which make this Tata Curvv.EV a little bit more special. Let me tell you. This Curvv.EV has lower center of gravity by 60 millimeters. It is going to offer a flatter roll axis which will deliver much better driving dynamics, much better handling characteristic, and this vehicle also has 50-50 weight distribution. And because of all of this, the Tata Curvv.EV should be a very fun to drive electric coupe SUV. But is that true? Let us find out. What I'm going to do is pull over to the shoulder, and now I'm going to switch to the sport mode. So the drive mode selector is over here on the center console, and now it is in eco. I have now moved to sport. The range obviously has changed because in sport mode you won't get that ability to drive for that much longer. But now in 3, 2, 1, full pedal to the metal. 8.6 seconds is the claim for 0 to 100, and we have already crossed 100 kilometers per hour, and it is riding nice and fast, and we already touched 150 kilometers per hour. I don't want to say all of these things out loud because I don't want to promote such high speed driving, but it was quick. And because of all of these aspects, the Tata Curvv.EV should be a fun to drive vehicle, isn't it? Let us find that out. So I have pulled over to the shoulder, and I'm going to switch to sport mode. The drive mode selector, as you can notice, is easy to reach. It is available over here on the center console, and now in 3, 2, 1, full pedal to the metal. It is accelerating quite fast, and we have already crossed 100 kilometers per hour, and Tata Motors is claiming a 0 to 100 sprint of 8.6 seconds, and it does feel fast, and it can pull strongly over 100 kilometers per hour as well. When we tried this before, we touched 150 kilometers per hour really quick, and there was more performance left, more juice left, that we could achieve its top speed effortlessly without the power tapering off. So there is really strong acceleration. We are going to try that out one more time. So I'm going to pull over to the shoulder again. As you know, I am continuing to drive the vehicle in its sport mode. Let us again check out the 0 to 100 performance of this Tata Curvv.EV. In 3, 2, 1, full pedal to the metal, some wheel spin, and as you can notice, it is accelerating really fast, pulling really strongly, over 100 kilometers per hour already. And just check it out how fast it is accelerating, and it still has more punch left to drive even faster and achieve its top speed. So this Tata Curvv.EV is definitely a fast vehicle. It definitely feels like a thrilling vehicle to drive, and while doing so, it stays nice and flat, and it will give you a lot of confidence to drive it fast. This time we are on an incline patch, and now let us check out the 0 to 100 acceleration of this Tata Curvv.EV. So in 3, 2, 1, full pedal to the metal. Can you hear the motor doing its job? It has already touched 100 kilometers per hour, and this is definitely a fast car. It is a sub 10-second vehicle, and it does feel exciting. So now that you have noticed how fast this Tata Curvv.EV is, let me tell you, when you are doing all of that, the cabin stays nice and quiet. Now this is an electric vehicle, so NVH of course is going to be really good. There is nothing under that hood that is going to make too much of noise. you actually have a frunk, some storage space under that hood, under the bonnet. Now, when I was driving at over 100 kilometers per hour, there was not too much of road noise that was heard inside the cabin. Right now, I am at highway commuting speeds, shuffling between 60, 70 and 80 kilometers per hour, and wind noise too is really well controlled. The vehicle is riding on really wide contact patch tires, and even tire noise is really not something that is going to disturb you inside the cabin. So your driving experience is going to be very pleasant when you are in this Tata Curvv.EV. Now, this car also gets a special feature, AVAS, and that is to alert other road users when you are crawling with this Curvv.EV. So if you are at speeds below 20 kilometers per hour, the vehicle will let out a sound so that other people know that there is an electric car approaching, there is a silent electric car approaching, so that they are aware about the presence of a vehicle, and this is a safety feature. I really like it, and as soon as you cross speeds of 20 kilometers per hour, that sound will go away. Now, some people might think that it is annoying, but then it is in the interest of safety, and we totally support it. Also, the sound that it lets out, it is quite pleasant, it is not too annoying, and there are not really overdone chimes and some music which will disturb other people. So that is a good thumbs up for that feature from our side. So coming back to the NVH point, I am at almost 90 kilometers per hour right now. Very good cabin experience, and when you have a good cabin experience, when NVH is at its ideal best, you will be stress free as a driver for a long time, so that you will be able to drive the car for longer without feeling tired. And this Tata Curvv.EV will keep you and your occupants happy on long drives, and because of that really long range, long drives are going to be much more frequent with a car with such kind of battery capacity. And Tata Motors has also revealed some true range figures, and you can see them on your screen right now. So range anxiety, that shouldn't be a problem if you are considering to bring home this Tata Curvv.EV. Now, the next point which I want to speak about is the steering wheel. The Tata Curvv.EV comes with EPS steering wheel, electrically power assisted steering wheel, or whatever is the term that Tata Motors uses. You can see it on the screen right now. The steering wheel has been giving me good feel and feedback. It is giving me a good direct response. There is not too much of dead area in the center either. So if I want to make really sharp steering inputs while having the car under hard acceleration, no problem at all, and it gives me a good feel of where the wheel is pointed, so that I can have the car in my control at all times. Check this out. If I want to make a fast-paced overtaking maneuver, no problem at all, and the steering wheel is nice and direct, and it weighs up too as you increase the speed of this Tata Curvv.EV. If you are going to make a U-turn, let me show this to you. Check this out. Single-handedly you can make a U-turn and no problem. So it is light at city speeds, and it does weigh up when you start driving this vehicle nice and fast. So a good job in the steering wheel department too. There is no judder, there is no kickback under acceleration when you have the steering corrected at some angle. So that also is a job well done. That is something that I had felt in the Tata Nexon EV, the very first Nexon EV, and of course with time, with experience, Tata Motors has refined all of these aspects, and this feels like a really well built product to me, at least in terms of the driving experience. Now, talking about little things, the steering wheel is of the right size, it looks good too, it feels good to hold, the touch and feel is also great. In the footwell area, you get a nice big dead pedal. I am wearing chunky sneakers, but my foot is completely rested on that dead pedal. No ergonomic flaws that I have noticed as a driver behind the wheel of this Tata Curvv.EV. So the steering wheel, it will not let you down, and you of course also have level 2 ADAS functionality. So all of that vibration, that pulsation that you feel on the steering wheel, that also is pleasant. You get all of that assistance too, and all of these things are definitely going to make your life easier out on the highway and also inside the city too. The next point which I want to speak about is the suspension setup. This Tata Curvv.EV rides on 18-inch wheels, really big 18-inch wheels, wide contact patch tires, but the ride quality is phenomenal. It is very, very absorbent. It is very, very comfortable. You ride it really hard and fast out on the highway, it stays flat. We drove it at almost 150 kilometers per hour and more, and no nervousness in terms of the ride quality of this vehicle. The ground clearance of this Tata Curvv.EV with the bigger battery pack is a little lower, but then still, it is on the higher side for you to just drive over broken patches confidently. You don't have to worry about scraping that underbelly or hurting and hitting that battery pack. Everything is really well protected, and also you get very good water wading capacity too. The ride quality is really, really so good that even when you are driving this car hard and fast, it gives you very good confidence. If you're going to make really sharp steering inputs, it stays balanced at all times. Of course, you have a host of electronic safety features which are working behind the scenes to give you more confidence, to give you more control over the vehicle. And I have been a very happy and a very comfortable driver behind the wheel of this Tata Curvv.EV. Check this out, we are following another Tata Curvv.EV. We are on the official media drive of this vehicle, and if I really want to make a fast-paced overtaking maneuver, there is very minimum body roll that you feel inside the cabin, and because of that you can have a lot of fun in this vehicle and it will not let you down. Check this out, I'm going to overtake a vehicle now, and we are over a rumbler patch, some steering correction too. I am over 120 kilometers per hour, switching lanes, no problem at all, absolutely no problem at all. And even now, when you approach such a corner, a long sweeping corner, because the center of gravity is low, because the roll axis is so perfect and 50-50 weight distribution, this just feels like such a well balanced vehicle. It feels that it is riding on rails, and I am very happy and I am very pleased that Tata Motors has achieved this. And looking at where Tata Motors were a couple of years back and how far they've come in terms of vehicle design, vehicle development, and now in this EV segment too, it is something that we must appreciate. Of course, they do lack a little bit in the quality control department, but then I'm hoping that that also improves eventually. So the suspension setup for you in the driver's seat, for your passengers, it is comfortable for them all. Yes, this vehicle does drive in a sporty fashion, but that has not compromised ride quality in terms of comfort. So this is going to be a very good touring vehicle too, and you can't really say that about electric cars, right? That EVs are going to be good touring cars. We can say that about this Curvv.EV because it has that battery capacity, it has that extra range, it has that true range too, and it has space, it has boot space, and it has good driving dynamics, it has fantastic ride quality, and it has a nice and direct steering wheel too. Check this out, really fast, lane change, sudden lane change, body roll is not really a concern. Check this out, if I again try to mimic an emergency maneuver, brilliant handling, and such an impressive car this Tata Curvv.EV is. Now the next point that I want to speak about is the braking setup of this Tata Curvv.EV, and we are going to split that in two parts. One are the brakes, and the second is the regenerative braking of this Tata Curvv.EV. 4 levels of regen, 0, 1, 2, 3. And if you haven't experienced an EV by now, let me tell you, 0 is going to be no regen, and then 3 is going to be max regen. I have been driving this vehicle in level 3 regen all the time. It gives you a feeling like engine braking. It does slow down significantly as soon as you release the throttle pedal. So you get that, engine braking kind of a feel. You will feel that kind of a dive too as soon as you get off the throttle pedal. Now the dive is not bad, it is just that you will feel that the vehicle is decelerating. I'm driving at a little over 80 kilometers per hour right now, and I have completely let go of the throttle pedal. I have moved to the slow lane, and check this out, the vehicle has completely slowed down by itself without me tapping the brakes, and now it has arrived at crawling speeds. I am in level 3 regen, which is max regen, but I don't think this Tata Curvv.EV has single pedal drive mode, which means that it is not going to come to a complete standstill. It is now crawling at 7 kilometers per hour on an incline. So that is something that you need to know about this vehicle. Check this out one more time. Let me show that to you. I have kicked the throttle pedal completely. I am now at 100 kilometers per hour, and now I have let go of the throttle pedal completely. And check this out. Did not tap the brakes at all. The vehicle has slowed down completely, and now, as you can notice, it will continue to crawl. As soon as your speed decreases below 20 kilometers per hour, that avas, that sound is going to start, so that it will, alert other road users that there is a quiet EV approaching you, and you can hear that inside the cabin too. And as soon as you start rolling, as soon as the speed picks up over 20 kmph, that sound is gone, and there is not too much of sound heard inside the cabin, because this is a very well put together electric vehicle, this Tata Curvv.EV. So elaborating a little more on the regen levels, you can set it between 0, 1, 2, 3 and set it to the desired level of deceleration that you want, so that it suits your driving style. Now next, let us speak about the brakes. If you tap the brakes and not use level 3 regen at all times, the braking feel and feedback is nice, and the vehicle also comes to a standstill in a nice straight line if you really stomp on the brakes. There is good bite from the brakes too, and the pedal feel is also nice and progressive. I have been driving this vehicle nice and fast all day long today, and the brakes did not let me down at all, because the car accelerates so hard and fast. The brakes, they should have been good, and they are good. So that also is a job well done. This Tata Curvv.EV, for some reason, I'm finding it hard to fault in terms of the driving experience, because it has been very pleasant. All the level 2 ADAS features which are available, they have also worked flawlessly. There has not been a single error that I have seen on the speedometer cluster. So that again is a very positive sign for this Curvv.EV, that everything looks good from the get-go, from the day of launch. So that should attract a lot of buyers for this Curvv.EV. And check this out. Long sweeping corners at highway speeds over 100 kilometers per hour. No problem at all. If you want to slow down because of other road users, good brakes too, no problem in this department. And if you want to very quickly overtake slow moving trucks, really punchy performance, and you will have no problem at all, to get going out on the highway and to munch miles faster. Now in terms of you being able to take full control over this EV, there is not much that you can do with this gear stick, right? You can switch between park, reverse, neutral and drive modes. There is no sport mode which you can engage over here from this gear stick. The drive mode selector is over here for city, eco and sport mode. And on the steering wheel, you have paddle shifters to switch between 0, 1, 2, 3, your regen levels. That is it. And that is going to give you all the control that you need when you are driving this Curvv.EV. Of course, for all your level 2 ADAS functionality, you have your controls on the steering wheel, and the buttons are really nice and large, so they are very easy to operate too, and there is not going to be any wrong press of a button. All of those ADAS features, like I have mentioned before, we tried it, they worked. I'm not really too much of a fan of ADAS here out on the Indian streets, because today we are reviewing this vehicle around the streets of Udaipur. There is a lot of cattle right in the middle of the highway, plus people are driving on the wrong side of the road. Nobody is really following any speed limits, so ADAS, that module will go crazy here out on the Indian streets. But still, it is a good safety feature to have. One fine detail which I want to tell you is that the rearward visibility is not all that great. Now, because this is a coupe SUV, it has that sloping roofline, and also because this is an SUV, it is really high, so that rear glass is really small, and the visibility is not completely bad. But if you have 3 occupants seated in the back seat, your rearward visibility is going to be almost negligible. But then you don't have to worry about it too much, because your wing mirrors are really large, plus you have that blind spot assistance as well, which is shown to you on your speedometer cluster. So all of these features will definitely help you drive your car safely. And should you insist that you want rearward visibility but you can't see much because of 3 occupants in the back seat, what you can do is touch this 360-degree camera button, and you have that live feed displayed to you on this infotainment screen. And as you can notice, the display is nice. It is not choppy. The frame rate is also good. So a good fluid display of rearward visibility as and when you need it. So now I am going to very quickly wrap things up about this drive review for you. The steering wheel has good feel and feedback. It gives you very good confidence. The NVH package is brilliant. This is an EV, so of course it is going to be quiet inside the cabin. But even at speeds, it is not at all noisy inside the cabin. It stays very pleasant throughout. The ride quality is fantastic, typical of Tata Motors vehicles. It is well suited for the broken Indian terrain. It is great out on the highway too, and the handling characteristic is just so good because of that 50-50 weight distribution and lower center of gravity, that it feels like it is riding on rails, even though this is a tall coupe SUV. So that also is a really strong positive sign about this vehicle. The brakes also are good, and the regen levels also give you a good, ability to tailor your driving experience as per the deceleration that you desire. Overall, I have been mighty impressed with this vehicle. This is the first time I am driving the Tata Curvv.EV, and I would love to drive it more. I would love to have it even as a long-termer. It is just that good as a product. If you have any other questions about this vehicle, ask me in the comments below, and I will try my best to help you out so that you can make an informed car buying decision. I hope that this video has added some value, and I hope that it has helped you understand this vehicle better. Till next time, subscribe to the Shifting Gears channel, press that bell icon. Always drive safe, and always, guys, try to have both your hands on the steering wheel, especially out on the highway. That will give you a lot more confidence. You will definitely carry more speeds.